everyone, welcome to Serah's Computer Sessions. I'm Seena Georgette. I've started this YouTube channel with the objective of dealing with computer science subjects one by one. To start with, I've decided to take programming in C. I hope that these sessions that I take will be really useful for a lot of people out there who are stepping on to computer science domain. Thank you for watching. So without much delay, let's move on to introduction. Before moving on to the core programming sessions, I would wish to familiarize some of the technical terms that we will be using throughout the sessions. So let's start with what a language actually is and what a programming language actually is. So both language and programming language are used as media for communication. Okay, so where does the difference lie? Yes, the difference lies between whom we use language and between whom we use programming language. Another difference is in the purpose of both languages. Okay, let's see one by one. Okay, language is used between humans. Yes, we use language between humans. Now, where does programming language come? Or programming language is used between a user and a computer. Very easy to understand, right? Now, let's see the purpose of a language. Why do we use human languages? Yes, we use human languages to express and understand each other, right? We will be very much happy when we see someone who talks our mother tongue, to talk to them, to understand them and all. But if we see someone whose language we are not familiar with, it will be very difficult for us to deal with them. So we know like different languages exist in the world. We will be very much fluent in our mother tongue, whereas we have accepted English as our international language. We have national regional languages. All the purpose of all languages is to express and understand each other. Okay, so let's move on to programming language. What is the purpose of programming language? So before moving on to the purpose of programming language, since I told that a programming language is used between a user and a computer, I would wish to categorize users into two. See, users can be mainly categorized into two, and that is public users and backstage users. Actually, these backstage users come as a subset of public users. We know nowadays, like most of us have electronic gadgets. We use computers, we use high-end mobile phones. So I don't think that I have to explicitly define what a software is. We all know what a software is. So public users are those users who actually utilize the softwares or work on the softwares to make the computer do what they really want to do. See, the users might have different work that has to be done. Excuse me. And these work will be performed using a computer, using an application software or a system software. Okay, softwares basically. Whereas backstage users are those users who develop these softwares so that these softwares can be made available to all the public users. Okay, so I just mentioned that backstage users are a bit different from public users. I mean, backstage users are software developers. Okay, so these backstage users are the users who really want to know, or who really should know one or multiple programming languages so that they can write programs and develop softwares so that the public users can use those softwares. I hope you got my point. Okay, so the purpose of programming language is nothing but to write programs so that different kinds of softwares can be developed. So let me move on to what a program is actually. A program is nothing but a set of instructions, sequenced instructions written by an individual using a programming language to do a specified task. For example, if I am asking you to take a paper and write down your daily routine as a list, you might have different kinds of schedule to be done or task to be done in a day, right? So ultimately, when you write down as it as a list, you will get a set of instructions. Some of the instructions might be actually planned or self-initiated. Other instructions might be given to you by your maybe family members or office or someone like that. So let me take another simple example. Suppose you want to go to a place and you decide to drive a car and go. The moment you enter into the car, all the steps that you do are sequenced, right? Right from inserting the key and pressing onto the clutch and brakes, starting the engine, everything has a sequence and it is a list of instructions. So likewise, similarly, okay, when we have to perform some task or give some task to the computer to perform, we have to give them as a set of sequenced instructions, and that can be done using a programming language. Okay, now in the earlier slide I mentioned about public users and backstage users. The main difference also I mentioned, and that is that backstage users are the ones who develop the software. So public users, is there any need for public users to know a programming language? I would put it in this manner. If any of the public users are really interested in studying or learning a programming language, they can. But other than that, the public user, for example, if we are using a Microsoft Office to prepare a document, or if we are using a PDF, Adobe Acrobat PDF to create a PDF or to read a PDF. I don't think that we need to know a programming language to do so, right? To use Microsoft Excel, to use Paint, to use Photoshop and all. We don't really need to know a programming language, but to develop something like that, people should know a programming language. Okay, so I hope you got my point, and I hope that you really understood what a program is. See, we can write, see, there are programs can be very, very simple programs as well as complex programs are also there. We can write both of them. So during our study, first we will be looking on to very simple programs. Okay, now next let me move on to what a software is. See, program and software are interrelated, but they are not the same. Program is a set of sequenced instructions written by an individual, but software, it is a big project. I mean to say, it is a collection of programs, multiple programs that will be written by a group of people, maybe in an office, or at a college or inside a college as a part of your project and all. Okay, so it is a collection of programs developed by a group into a package for distributing it to the users who need it. Softwares can be actually divided into two. I think the classification is very much familiar and famous. It can be basically categorized as system software as well as application software. First, let's see what an application software is. I think you all will be familiar with different kinds of apps that you install inside your mobile phones. To make it easy, I would say that these apps are actually application softwares. Okay, these are application softwares are those softwares that public users use so that they can perform some tasks using these application softwares. Okay, for example, I should say Microsoft Office. If you're using Windows operating system, then the most common example that I can put forward is Microsoft Office. Okay, or a Tally or something like that. Okay. Mhm. So let's move on to what a system software is. This is just a simple explanation in order just to understand what a system software and application software is. If I should move in detail, then there will be, if this is a topic that can be taken into great detail, but I don't wish to do so here in this session, because we are concentrating in one single programming language, and that is C. Just for familiarization, I'm mentioning what a system software and application software is. System software is that software that is used to make the computer hardware more functional. So the best example of a system software is the operating system itself. Without the operating system, we cannot actually work with a computer, right? So these system softwares, they communicate with the computer in a low level, that means in a more denser level. Okay, another major example of system software can be device drivers. I think you all are familiar with device drivers. For example, whatever hardware you try to install to your or connect to your system has to be uh, having this device driver at hand, so that it can be installed properly. Okay, there are plug and play hardwares that are coming nowadays, but then device driver concept is that we have to have this device driver system software, so that we can install and connect the hardwares properly to our computer. Okay, so I hope that you got my points correctly in this session. So we discussed what a language is, its purpose. We discussed what a programming language is and its purpose. We discussed what a program is, what a software is, and categorization of software. Dear viewers, I hope that today's session was helpful for you. Next session will be about generations of programming languages as well as classification of programming languages. I hope that you will continually watch my sessions and give me suggestions for improvement, as well as give me requests for any sessions that should be taken explicitly. Thanks for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.